Hello everybody, George Taylor from Entracte Audio here. Today I'd like to talk a little bit more, this is a supplementary video, about the Angela-Gilbert Yeung C312 preamplifier. We just came back from 3 days at Montreal Audio Fest, and after turning knobs, twisting knobs, and demonstrating this piece of equipment for people over 3 days of a show, I have a really good sense of how to talk about the control set and how to help people set it up. This is kind of an important video because there's a few of these out in the market. There's a few of these out in the world. It's for sale. We'd love to sell it, and it's become sort of it's become kind of a hot button item for us. People like it. People are interested in it. And what I'd like to talk today is about a starting point, an easy starting point that you can use as a basis for generating a good sound consistently on this every time, because it's not just volume up, volume down. We've got 3 mixable gain stages and a 4th volume control that, as you'll find out, actually works as one of the mixable gain stages. So, if we could come a little bit closer here, let's talk about what exactly is on the front panel. These are the selector switches for the C312, and I mean, there's 5 possible inputs, but that's not really the basis of our discussion today. Where the fun starts today is over here on the mixable gain stages. And as you can see, I'm actually not sure what these are mixed are. I think these are mixed in such a way as this is how it wound up when we put it in the box to pack it and bring it home. So, what we have, I'm going to turn them all down to 0. What we have is a warm gain stage, we have a tube gain stage, we have a solid state gain stage, and we have a volume, a master volume. Now, after turning these knobs back and forth, up and down, here and there for a whole weekend, I've discovered a few interesting things about it. First of all, the best way to get an initial the best starting point is probably to do something like this. Now, the first things we would do, or the first 2 adjustments we make, is to set the tube gain stage and the solid state gain stage at 9 o'clock. All right, so this will give us kind of a hybrid tube solid state sound. What we would then do is, using the warm gain stage and the volume gain stage in equal parts, find a comfortable volume setting for the speakers you're using. With the Fink Team Kim speakers I was using, they're a little bit on the inefficient side, so the place to start them was here with the warm and the volume settings at 12 o'clock. From there, you would then decide, okay, how much tube sound do I want? And how much solid state sound do I want? Now, a really interesting thing. These 2 controls seem to work really well as a team. Also, these 2 controls seem to work very well as a team. Okay. This was intended in the design. This is just kind of an extra byproduct of the design that wasn't necessarily expected, but is really effective and works very well. So that's one thing to remember. The other thing to remember is that if you want more tube, you don't have to get it just by turning the tube control up. Okay? Sometimes it's just as effective to turn the solid state control down. And that was one of the things I was doing wrong when I initially started to use this in my own system, in my own shop for the first couple of months. I just assumed that, okay, I want more of this, I'll do that. I want more of this, I'll do that. And I never really considered turning things down, but it's actually very effective to do that and that, possibly even more effective than leaving this one here and doing that, or leaving this one here and doing that. So don't be afraid to turn the controls down as well as up. All right, I think that was my biggest mistake. The other thing is that there's an awful lot of gain in this warm control over here. So this is kind of, I'm not sure this is technically correct, but it acts as an auxiliary control. So you seem to have a warm tube volume and a solid state volume, as well as a tube flavor and a solid state flavor. Now, is that the way the amplifier actually works? I'm not 100% sure. It's the way I've organized it in my mind, though, and in my mind, organizing it that way helps me get the best possible sound. Now, when I'm using this, I like a balanced sound with just a little bit more tube than solid state. Currently, I may change my mind. If I change speakers, if I change rooms, I might want something else. But what I like to do right now is I like to run the warm at about 12 o'clock, volume to taste. In other words, the volume I need to play the piece of music, or the volume I want at any particular given time. And then I like to run about that much tube and that much solid state. I've always been a solid state person, so I'm surprised how much enjoyment I get out of this much tube. And I discovered that back when we were displaying the NSIG integrated amplifier at the 2018 Toronto show. So I found it that I like mic tubes more than I thought I did. But what I like about doing it this way with simulated tubes is the fact that you keep all the frequencies, you don't roll off high frequencies, and you get warmth, but you also don't lose any of the agility of the sound. Like solid state sound to me has agility and snap and bounce and fun. So this is why this preamp was built the way it is. So that's kind of a tubey-ish sound. If you wanted more solid state, the best way to get it would be to turn the warm control down to about 9 o'clock. Turn the tube control down to whatever you want to turn it down to. Bring the volume level of the solid state way up. And use your volume, again, to taste, for the music or the situation. All right? So that would be a setting that you would use to balance a lot more towards a solid state sound as opposed to a tube sound. Now, if you wanted a really tubey sound, again, we would move the warm control up to just past noon. We'd probably use a lot of the tube to about noon, and then bring the solid state sound way down. And something like this would give you a very tube-ish type of sound. Any less than this solid state, any more than this tube, and things start to get extreme. Now, don't be afraid to do extreme, because that might be the sound that you're looking for. That might be the sound that brings the music, presents the music in a way you really like it. I mean, this is very flexible, and there's a lot of range between the very, very solid state sound and the very, very tubey sound. So if you have one of these, if you get a chance to look at one of these, I encourage you to experiment a little bit with controls, because it's not meant to be the sound that we're recommending to you. We want you to get the sound that you want to have. So, as always, if you have any questions, I'm without my cue card today, so I'm just going to rough it out here. You can email me at entractaudio@rogers.com. That would be entracteaudio@rogers.com. Or you can send email inquiries to Angela-Gilbert.com, Angela-Gilbert. Let me do that again. Angela-Gilbert.com. Or you can check out my website at entracteaudio.com, which would be entracteaudio.com. Hold on. In case you don't like my spelling, there you go. There's the Angela-Gilbert.com website. There's my website. There's my email address. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, if you got questions, please do contact us if you'd like to hear it. I'm near Toronto in Markham. Drop by and have a listen. Always welcome. Take care. Have a great day. So long for now.